सिग्नल की लूज करता ही है।
मेरे घर में कभी भी नहीं करता था, यहाँ पे भी नहीं करना चाहिए। हमारे लिए बैंडविड्थ बहुत अच्छी होती है ऑफिस की। पीपल आर ज्वाइनिंग और दो देखना लोगों को ये हाल हो जाता है। वीडियो स्टार्ट करें सर?
अब सर हेलो, ये लोकेशन
कितनी आ रही है हमारी वीडियो?
We are also joined by, sorry, just a second. We are also joined by our guest of honor, Shri Vivek Pratap Singh Ji, who is an IS and a managing director at Conware and Punjab State Warehousing Corporation, director PLIL. We welcome you, sir. We have with us Shri Madhusudan Ved Ji, Chairman Chandigarh Chapter, PhD CCI. We welcome you, sir. And also we have with us Shri Karan Gilotra Ji, who is Chairman Punjab State Chapter at PhD CCI. My heartiest welcome to all the dignitaries for joining us and willing to share your esteemed thoughts with the audience. Regional Office of PhD Chamber of Chandigarh has taken this initiative, which is to address the policy advocacy and business issues of the region across all verticals affecting the economy of the region. This virtual series on logistics and warehouse management is organized with the vision of creating a flagship program annually to bridge the gaps between government and industry. I'll try to lay some context around the discussion that would happen today. The discussion is around logistics and warehouse management. As many reports suggest, the size of Indian warehousing industry is estimated to be around $20 billion. The sector is growing at an average of 15% per annum. The lion's share of this sector is taken by the industrial and retail players who hold 55% of the market, closely followed by agriculture and horticulture products, which is about 15% of the total warehousing requirement, and then cold storages, which also has about 15% of the warehousing requirement. Typically, if we see in overall logistics, warehouse for many years has been one of the most overlooked sectors. But if you see warehouses today, they have developed into very sophisticated stockrooms with advanced state-of-the-art facilities like real-time tracking, use of robotics, AI, ML-based data analytics, etc. We estimate that the warehousing and logistics would continue to attract investments both from the public and the private sector. We have seen that after the implementation of GST and the attainment of infrastructure status in the past 4 to 5 years, this sector attracted nearly $10 billion of investment. It has also witnessed huge interest from foreign participants, developers who have invested more than 8 billion since 2014 till 2019. If you see, the growth of this sector is largely driven by the rise of Make in India initiative, which has given wings to the domestic industries to produce more, not just for internal consumption, but also for export, which has fueled the demand for warehousing spaces across the country. Also, if we look closely, the government of Punjab has been very active in taking many initiatives to facilitate the growth of warehousing in the state of Punjab, such as I read very recently approving a warehousing facility for non-agriculture purposes in Patiala district, basically to boost industrial development in the region, which has been a very long-standing need of the industries in and around the area. And it is said that this model would be subsequently replicated across the state. So in the nutshell, we would focus about in the today's discussion, we'd like to cover a few topics. First, the policy initiatives by Government of India and State of Punjab for logistics and warehousing, post giving it the status of infrastructure industry, expansion plans for the logistics infrastructure to meet industry demands, scope for joint ventures with private players, the public-private partnership that has been seen in other industries as well, how the dynamics of warehousing has changed because of customer demand post-COVID, where consumerism is changing, more e-commerce growth has seen, how that would change warehousing pan-India. What are the other factors that would be driving the future warehousing spaces? What is the future of e-commerce driven demand? As I said, e-commerce is in the forefront of recoveries after post-COVID. How the investors and the policy makers are looking at the Indian market. how the future consumer trends would look like, and what are the specific demands and initiatives that Punjab government and the state of Punjab has been taking. Having said this, having laid the foundation around the discussion, I would now like to invite Shri Madhusudan Ji, the chairman, Chandigarh chapter, to deliver the welcome address for us. The floor is yours, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Shri Pawan Kumar Agarwal Ji, Shri Vivek Pratap Singh Ji, Mr. Sumit Sharma, Mr. Karan Girotra, ladies and gentlemen, and members from the industry. A very warm welcome on behalf of PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry and my personal behalf. It's my proud privilege to share that PhD Chamber of Commerce and Punjab Logistics Infrastructure Limited, a joint venture company of Convair, Government of Punjab, and Concur, Government of India, are jointly organizing virtual series on logistics and warehouse management to bring together logistics and warehouse ecosystem from this region and ponder over the changing business scenario, policy framework, and network with industry players to find out opportunities for the state of Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, and Union Territory of Chandigarh. We are fortunate to have Shri Pawan Kumar Agarwal Ji, Special Secretary Logistics, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, amongst us as the chief guest at the inaugural session of this virtual series. A very warm welcome to you, sir. We look forward to receive the important information with regard to national level logistics and warehouse policy frameworks, schemes, and state level initiatives by the Government of India. This program would not have been possible without the guidance and support of Shri Vivek Pratap Singh Ji, Managing Director, Convair, Punjab State Warehousing Corporation, and Director, Punjab Logistics and Infrastructure Limited. Sir, your commitment to facilitate the trade within the state of Punjab through seamless logistic and warehouse infrastructure is commendable and is very well appreciated by the industry. We look forward to hearing your thoughts and vision regarding the same. The theme for today's session is streamlining demand and supply, with the objective to find synergies between the demand from industry and strategies adopted by the central and state government to fulfill the same. The follow-up session will focus on bringing the investments and business opportunities for state representatives as well as supply chain entrepreneurs to fulfill the demand of industry. We are appreciative of the team members from Punjab Logistics and Infrastructure Limited, Punjab Warehousing Corporation, Convair, Concur, and our corporate partners, Paul Merchants, for supporting this initiative. I request all of you to make most of the session filled with deliberations and discussions, and also feel free to ask questions. Thank you all very much. Thanks, please. Hello, Mr. Sumit Sharma?
Yeah, hi, sir.
Yeah, I'm done, please.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. I would now like to invite our guest of honor, Shri Vivek Pratap Singh Ji, IS Managing Director, Convair and Punjab State Warehousing Corporation, and Director, PLIL, to share his thoughts with us. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Respected Shri Agarwal Ji, Mr. Vij, Mr. Gilotra, Mr. Khanna, the office bearers of PhD Chamber of Commerce, and the captains of local industry, friends. First of all, I am so grateful that you have invited me today to interact with you. I do not have to say much. I will try to very briefly state whatever I feel about this logistics sector, but I will rather prefer to hear what others have to say so that we can also evaluate our strategies further as to how we can supplement the local industry in the area. I must also congratulate all of you that we have been handling this COVID pandemic for last 6 months, and the industry has responded so well to it. I hope that the setback that we have suffered, we will be able to cover up very soon. And my best wishes to you, to all of you, for your future endeavors. As far as the logistics sector is concerned, it's a sunshine industry. The trends in logistics during last, say, 1 or 2 decades have completely changed the scenario. As far as the PSWC or is concerned, we have the experience of warehousing and a part of logistics, but that is restricted to more or less an agricultural area, agricultural sector. We have some logistic facilities at Jalandhar, Ludhiana, otherwise also, but primarily our work has been so far in agricultural sector. But Punjab State Warehousing Corporation intends to move out into other more relevant areas to the industry also. Although Punjab being an agricultural sector, agriculture will always remain our first priority. But we will like to make more investments. We will like to have more facilities for others also. The PLIL, which is a joint venture of Punjab State Warehousing Corporation and Concord, is one of the first initiatives. We will like to go for more such initiatives, but that also depends on the demand of the industry of the area. I will request all the members of the Punjab Chamber of this PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry, whenever you have anything, you feel that you require this kind of facility or some regional facility you require, where you feel that it is better that government manages this facility, we will always be willing to participate in such a venture. I will just like your feedback. In state of Punjab, as I said, PSWC generally is in more or less in agricultural sector. We have some facilities other than agriculture also. We have another company called Conware, which is again a Punjab government company. This company has 2 facilities in Bombay. Again, these were established at some point of time to facilitate Punjab industry, which is exporting outside India. But now perhaps there are other facilities also available, local facilities in that area. So we are generally competing with everyone else. And PLIL is, as I stated earlier, is a joint venture between Concord and PSWC. Again, big logistics facility, which is now coming up. And I am happy to inform you that the company is now in operational profits, and very soon we will be expanding it even further. There are other private sector investments also in logistics. But generally, the way the logistics should progress has not been able to progress so far, mainly because it is a, as I said earlier, it's a sunshine sector. We are still learning how to expand it further. There are logistics, independent logistics arrangements of these Amazon, Flipkart or other retail sectors. We were also in talks with some companies before this COVID pandemic broke in this country. After that, we had to keep it pending so far. We will again start these talks with other private companies also for similar kind of joint ventures. Wherever there is any policy issue involved, I will like to welcome any of the members or PhD Chamber of Commerce as an organization. Please approach us. Punjab State Warehousing Corporation will definitely try to help you out in any sector that you require our help. You can take us as a one-stop window for, say, Punjab government. Just send it to us and we will then see if we require some help of some other organization also, that also we will coordinate. Only thing is that when the government wants to enter into some kind of business, we want it in such a way that there should be a big public demand and it is not being satisfied by the private sector as such. If the private sector presence is already there, then perhaps it will not be wise to make government investment at the same place. I will end my talk here itself, and I will rather prefer to listen to what you have to say, because you have more experience. You are working at the cutting edge. You know directly what are the requirements of the sector. And please do not hesitate wherever you require our help. We will always try to help you the best we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Those are very encouraging words for people who want to explore this sector and enter this sector with the state of Punjab. I now invite Chief Guest Shri Pawan Kumar Agarwal ji, IAS Special Secretary Logistics, Department of Commerce, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, to share his visionary words around the topic. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Sumit. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are very audible, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, friends and colleagues from Chandigarh and around the northern region. And thank you, PhD Commerce, PhD Chamber of Commerce, for giving me this opportunity to interact with you. So first, I would like to place on record my appreciation, to Punjab, for Punjab government. The fact that they have a nodal points person to address issues of logistics in the state, which Mr. Singh pointed out, is really praiseworthy. Because we all understand that logistics space is very poorly defined. Most often, it is considered as an auxiliary service to almost everything: agriculture, manufacturing, and therefore there is a lack of coherent story about logistics in the country. It has only begun to be defined only recently. The word logistic itself is not a very old word. It was coined about a decade and a half ago. But logistics and supply chain is all over the place. It is all around us, and I think it was during the pandemic that it got the attention that it deserved, that it is so critical to manufacturing, farm operations, and everything else, that one needs to give a lot of attention to it. So in this context, I'm sure you are aware that a logistics division was created some 3 years ago for integrated development of the logistics sector in the country. And over the past 3 years, we have been trying to figure out and define this space. That what is this space? Who are the key stakeholders, and what is it? What are their pain points? How do we bring out a coherent story for development of integrated logistics sector in the country? And I'm very happy to say that after very extensive consultations with the wide range of stakeholders, we are coming out with a coherent story for development of integrated logistics sector. Though it's not formally approved so far, but I'll give you a glimpse of what this coherent story is all about. So we are essentially talking in terms of 12 levers of change in logistics sector that will transform this sector. And let me begin by saying that the logistics sector is both the hardware, which will include the infrastructure, the rolling stock, vehicles, carriers, etc., and the software, the services, logistics services, and whole range of people who are connected with those services. So it is both the hardware and software of logistics that we are talking of. We are also talking of all modes of transportation, warehousing, and intermediate storage, etc. So all that constitutes, what we loosely refer to as logistics. And this policy addresses all these issues in a holistic manner. Obviously the first, that lever of change would be that how do we develop transportation infrastructure and also warehousing infrastructure, both through public and private investment in an integrated manner, so that I'm sure while at the state level there is not much involvement of the state governments modes of transportation other than road transportation. Railways, civil aviation, shipping is largely within the domain of the central government. But of course, many states do participate in these modes of transport as well. But even when it is there, and at the national level as well, so these ministries, often work in silos. How do we bring in an integrated planning for infrastructure development that will promote multimodal transportation, across modes of transport, in planning and development of transport infrastructure and warehousing? So that is one part and the first lever of change, and something concrete must happen in that regard. Second area is around, rules of the game, the rules and regulations that govern the logistics space. And here I'm talking about, the laws relating to carriage of goods by road, by rail, by shipping, and different other modes. So currently there are six legislations, 6 laws that define these, liability regime and different kind of documentation, different processes, different terms used for the same thing across modes of transport. So unless there is a harmonization of all of it, this is unlikely to be optimal and be efficient. So therefore, we are recommending there should be a national logistics law. So that is the second pillar of change. The third pillar of change is about standardization and formalization of the sector. So standardization is very important, and as I mentioned that across modes of transport, the same terms are named differently, and that creates confusion, and that also is a hindrance in multimodal transportation. But in case of physical assets, standardization is even more important. I'm sure you are all aware that use of pallets and containerization in domestic transportation is minimal in this country, and that is one of the route for efficiency enhancement and for improving or reducing logistic costs. So that we have not leveraged sufficiently. Even though some standards are available, there are gaps in standards, and those gaps have to be fulfilled. There are also gaps in packaging standards for various goods, which needs to be addressed. So unless there is standardization of logistic assets, if we can call it, we cannot enhance efficiency. And that is also true in terms of formalization of the sector, because this sector, anyone can become a transporter, so there are no entry barriers, which is good, which facilitates business, but it also erodes confidence of the businesses to use transportation. So they will look for somebody whom they know and they can trust. Otherwise, if he runs away with your goods, even though the laws provide for remedies, but they are not good enough. So trust in the sector can only be built by having an appropriate, right kind of a regulatory environment for it, which will obviously be provided by the National Logistics Law, as I mentioned. But it would, one of the focus on that will be formalization of the sector. And here again, our challenge is that how do we create a soft regulatory environment for the sector, which is not stifling, which does not prevent new businesses to coming, but at the same time sets the rules of the game, in somewhat more transparent manner than it is today. The next area of the next lever of change is digital transformation. And in this space, I think there has been a lot of action, particularly during the pandemic, on issues like e-proof of delivery, electronic proof of delivery. So I think a far more number of people have begun to use it, and this is also connected with the formalization of the sector because there is lack of trust. So people say that at least there is a piece of paper, so you can trust the piece of paper and not a electronic transaction. So once there is some amount of tracking and tracing of cargoes and track and tracing of the logistic providers, then digital transformation will become easier. Visibility will increase. So it has lots of return cargo and empty truck haulage and empty running of trains on return movements is a big issue that hampers efficiency of the sector. But while some of those problems will continue to be there because of imbalances in movement of goods from one place to another, but some of it can be addressed by by use of technology, and that is where a technology transformation offers solution to this kind of a problem. Next area of intervention is multimodal transportation. And once again, while we have been talking about multimodal transportation for many years, but the progress in this regard has been somewhat tardy. And it was largely because when we are talking of multimodal transportation, we are essentially talking in terms of moving goods from road to rail and from rail to water, coastal shipping and inland waterways. So I think shaking the entire system, making Ministry of Shipping, the shipping lines more proactive in carrying the domestic cargo while they are currently mostly focused on international cargo is the way forward. There's a lot of potential, particularly in parts of the country where inland waterways can carry a lot more goods than they are currently carrying. So how do we develop our inland waterways? And finally, the railways had so far been focused mostly on bulk cargo carriers. So how do we make railways more proactive, more business friendly to carry all kinds of cargo? And in that regard, as we speak, a lot of action has been taken by the Indian Railways, and things are looking good. So, but more than that, there has to be, infrastructure where there is a cross-docking facility where, goods can transfer from one mode to another mode without much hassles. And obviously, the best way of doing it is using containerization. So, and as I mentioned, containerization in this country is, particularly in domestic transportation, is very, very little. So how do we promote it? So that is an area of focus. Urban and rural logistics, urban logistics, because I think our cities have become nightmares as far as, the transportation, both passenger transportation and goods transportation is concerned. There is nothing much one can do about passenger transport because people will be there. But can we do a better planning for freight transportation within the city boundaries? Can a lot of those places where bulk cargo comes into the cities can be shifted to peri-urban areas, and then it is taken in smaller vehicles to the delivery points? So hub and spoke model, consolidation points. So these are areas where a lot more attention is required to be given. I'm not saying that nothing is being done, because I can see that many states are very proactive. Many city administration, municipal bodies are very proactive in taking action on it, and private investment in warehousing infrastructure in the peri-urban areas has really done very well, but a lot more is required to be done, and that has to be done in a more structured manner. We also have an issue about rural logistics, particularly for the farm sector, and there the challenge is because there's small cargo that farmer has to carry, there's small consignments. So how do we do consolidation of those small small volumes so that it can be carried in a full truck, and from truck it can be carried into a full train? And I'm sure you are aware of the initiatives that have been taken recently on Kisan Rail, Krishi Udan, and Kisan Rath. So these are initiatives in the direction of addressing logistics issues of the farm sector. And that requires attention. And in the urban and rural logistics, in farm logistics, in MSME logistics, state governments have a big role to play. And therefore, like we have a logistics division in the national government, so the policy talks about that state government should also have, if not a full-fledged department, at least coordination points, so very clearly defined, cells, logistic cells, where all these issues are addressed in a more structured manner than what is being currently done. Logistics workforce, it's not only about loaders, unloaders, or even drivers, which form the bulk of the logistics workforce, but there is also supervisory level and managerial level workforce. I think Sumit mentioned about sophistication that has come in the warehousing and logistics space, and that requires professionally qualified people who understand supply chain management. I think what I'm told is that putting your goods in godown is not a good thing. They should always be moving. Unless you are putting them in warehousing for long duration storage. And so I think all kinds of new developments are taking place. Better understanding of logistics is happening. Just-in-time deliveries, etc., are happening. All that requires use of technology, but also understanding of use of technology. That how can we manage our supply chains better? We require a very different set of competences in people who look at supply chain management differently and use our existing logistic assets more efficiently. Because when you are talking of logistic assets, whether it is warehousing or a railway track or terminals, they are very expensive assets. And there are cases when you have created logistic assets and they're not optimally used. So in the interest of the country, in the interest of everyone, I think we need to see that whatever assets are created, they are more efficiently, more optimally used. And therefore, logistics workforce focus on that, and particularly a focus on managerial and supervisory staff who do supply chain management planning and ensure that these assets are more optimally utilized and that bring in savings for the enterprises and savings for the nation overall. And then we have the green and clean logistics issues. How do we make our transportation environment friendly? I think transportation sector is one of the key sectors that creates a lot of pollution. And how do we ensure that we have a transport sector that is more environment friendly, and we have faster movement of our trucks on our roads? How do we ensure all of it? How do we use alternate fuels for transportation? So these are the issues that need to be addressed. And then there is research and innovation, promotion of startup activities in this space. So these are 8 specific areas. I've not covered all 12 so far. I've covered 8 of them. These are 8 areas that we are giving attention to, primarily from the logistics division. But there are other 4 areas of attention where we would play a coordination role. That is the role of other ministries and departments to do. And it is about, the transportation sector itself, what can be done in trucking sector? Primarily the responsibility of Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, in shipping, in civil aviation, in railways. So how do we ensure that they are more efficiently managed to improve the logistics efficiency, reduce logistic cost, and they work with each other? So that is another area of attention, and we have identified some areas of intervention in each of those spaces, and obviously those will have to be done by the respective ministries, wherein our role will be merely to coordinate these efforts so that we are moving in the same direction. Same is true about the user ministries, who move goods, and particularly in the central government, there are Ministry of Steel, Ministry of Coal, where logistic transportation plays a very important role in their operations. In case of coal, nearly 55% of the cost of coal is the cost of transportation itself, cost of logistics. Steel also about 20-25%. So, and obviously I mentioned about agriculture, MSME, there are different kind of challenges. So I think bringing those challenges of logistics, moving these goods from one place of production to place of consumption or place of manufacturing, in a more efficient manner is what we are looking at. And therefore, involving the economic ministries, involving the sectoral ministries is very, very important. So that makes it 10. The remaining 2 parts are about international logistics. So how do we improve EXIM logistics, export and import logistics? What is required to be done both in terms of processes, infrastructure at ports or EXIM cargo, and how does India integrate with the global supply chains through that? And finally, the last point is about logistics for emergency response. I think its importance cannot be understated. We all are passing through a very difficult phase, and where logistics plays a very, very important role. And in the early days of the pandemic, I think there were supply chain disruptions in parts of the country. And we are very lucky that with the support of all of you were able to get through that, get through that phase very, very well. So I will just end here that, with this policy, we now have a coherent story about integrated development of the logistics space. The issues and here are so expensive, they are so broad-based, it definitely requires whole of government approach and whole of society approach to address issues that we face in our logistics and supply chain. So I once again thank you, PSD Chamber of Commerce, for giving this opportunity, and for flagging and for highlighting the issues of logistics and supply chain. I'm sure that through the deliberations, you will come out with new ideas, new ways of doing things, and will contribute to the growth of the integrated logistics sector in the country. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Those were very insightful thoughts and a very structured way of making us understand the entire logistics ambit around it, and also the various initiatives that have been taken. So it was deeply insightful, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm sure others would concur with me on this. So before I move on further, I would very quickly want to check with the PSD Commerce that if we have time to interact with the participants, who I'm sure would be very, very eager to learn from our esteemed guests. So just wanted
I would
to
like to have.
Yeah, so Sumit, let's take the questions.
Yeah, Ashok Sethi from Rice Exporter Association, ma'am.
Yeah, Mr. Ashok, please go ahead with your thoughts or your questions.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, everybody. Sunil, it's been a pleasure be on the Zoom with you. and Mr. Pawan Kumar Agarwal and Vivek Pratap Singh from Punjab. You see, sir, Pawanji, we represent the entire basmati exports from Punjab. You see, our exports from Punjab is about 14,000 crores annual exports. Just imagine, it's a huge export, and the entire export is through containers or truck movements from Amritsar to Mundra or Kandla port, sir. But from Amritsar alone, we send about 500 containers of basmati every month, sir. 500 containers, and we need 20 feet containers. And now, presently, you know the problem in Ludhiana. Our 2,000 containers are stuck there because of the railway movement not being going ahead. But hopefully, I think in a couple of days, sir, Pawan Kumarji, just imagine shipping companies are charging $54 per day for the containers. And till date, we have actually lost about 23 crores only from damage to shipping company. This is a huge amount. I hope, Pawanji, I think you will take up with shipping companies to please waive off this 23 crores that we have suffered for last 3 weeks of our containers being stuck at Ludhiana. Secondly, that's one part of the story. The second is, now Amritsar doesn't have a container depot. So what happens is we get an empty container from Ludhiana to Amritsar. We pay that charges, and then from again Amritsar, we fill up the containers and send it to Ludhiana again. So the one side cost of logistics and freight is very high. It's about 7,500 rupees per empty container that we pay extra from Punjab. And you know, Pawanji, Punjab is the mecca of basmati rice. The best basmati rice in the world is produced in Amritsar and Tarn-Taran, Gurdaspur. 3 districts of Punjab produce the best basmati, long grain with a lot of taste and flavor. So that's it. So I want sir to set up a shipping companies to set up container depot in Amritsar. Besides the rice, there's a Khanna paper mill which imports about 540 feet containers every month, from bringing the waste paper from the ports to Amritsar. So we have got 40 feet containers coming to Amritsar, going empty. 20 feet containers coming from Ludhiana, coming empty and filling it up and going back to Ludhiana again. So these are the major issues. I want Punjab to become a logistic hub, and especially Amritsar. Amritsar being at the border of India, I think requires, a special care from the logistics ministry that you, Pawan, you are heading. And secondly, I would like to suggest, sir, now since you mentioned about supply chains and all that, this because rice became a very important food factor. We have 12,000 crores export every year to Middle East, to Europe and America, and then the domestic is there. We have huge supplies of basmati going to Gujarat, Maharashtra, South India. We also need container for domestic supplies as well. I think we will bring down the cost of the logistic, bring down the cost of freight and cartage and all that. Third attention I would like to make, Sir Pawanji, we identified Amritsar Atari station as an ICD hub for container shipping company. This is, firstly, it's a custom authorized port, sir. And secondly, we have huge area around Atari available for building up a container depot. And thirdly, sir, very important, sir, Concur and APIDA were on board. We had actually made a project report for turning Atari railway station into an ICD port. And I think I have the report. I can share that entire DPR, the project report for the Atari station being declared as an ICD and making it an inland depot, container depot. It's very important. APIDA has a lot of funds, sir. Pawanji, as you know it, that every basmati export that we export, we give some kind of 25 rupees per ton to APIDA. A huge fund that's called Basmati Development Fund is being collected, and there's huge corpus lying with APIDA. So funds is not the issue. APIDA even was willing to build up the infrastructure for the port at Atari, and Concur was willing to even run the show. So this is the first part of the story. Second, sir, Amritsar has an international airport, sir. We need to develop a cold chain project at Amritsar airport for selling, for exporting perishable fruits, vegetables. It's a very important thing. So I think the land is available. Airport is a huge connectivity around the world. We have daily flights by Qatar, daily flights to Dubai, Sharjah, and to Middle East and other countries. So we have a huge infrastructure at the airport. I think we can use the airport for making a cold chain hub for perishables, especially perishable. We can also help states like Himachal and Jammu Kashmir to export their apples and other perishable fruits and all that. Third point I'd like to make, Sir Pawanji, we need to develop Punjab as a major warehousing base. We must develop silos in Punjab because we, Government of India, FCA, procures a huge kind of grains, rice and wheat. So we got only 3 of silo projects. One is in Amritsar, one is in Dhuri, and other in Malerkotla. So we need to develop the modern warehousing silos for keeping our grains in these silos, modern silos. We can save the grains. We can save a lot of grains. Now, presently, sir, the grains are all actually kept outside under tarpaulin, and the vagaries of weather and the other thing. I think we lose huge national wealth because of poor storage in plinth areas, in open areas, or even godowns. So I think Punjab needs an extra push, sir, Pawanji, to build up a strong logistic base, strong warehousing base, and I think strong cold chain base. I think Punjab needs your total help, Ramli. I think these are small few observations I thought I'll share with you. I'm very happy Vivek Pratap is also here joining us. I think we can join hands with Punjab government and build up a strong case for setting up most modern logistics and warehousing base in Amritsar and Punjab also. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share my views with you. Thank you, Sunil.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sethi. I think those were very, very exhaustive remarks, and we are sure most of these things would be taken care in the future as well. Moving on, we have Mr. Sagar Singh who would want to ask a question to Pawan sir. Mr. Singh, you can go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Agarwal sir. I have a little question now, because since you said that the road transportation needs a huge development, we are working on a solution which we try to propose it to the Ministry of Road Transport and Shipping. But the 4 core problems are: one, that the truck owner is not able to actually identify it is about the transportation's brief, wherein they really want to understand what is the productivity of the truck is. If there's a breakdown, if the driver moves out to look for a solution, he loses stuff that time. There's a theft issue. The other is that they are not able to service their vehicles on time, so they create a higher service cost on that. So these 3 issues are really big. I'm closely working with someone who owns about 200 trucks now to figure out this problem. But the biggest problem is we approached the Ministry of Transport. They are not able to actually accept this, that this is actually a big problem to every truck owner happening.
So what is the solution?
The solution is that we are developing a system wherein we track the entire vehicle, we track the productivity, we track how much the truck is being running, how much is the speed, how much kilometers it can actually cover, and how much it is actually covering. And then if there's a breakdown, we give them the support at their space, wherever they are in the country, with the nearest garage available. Plus, we are giving them the assurance of their productivity and tracking systems all over the country.
So that's very good. So you're doing an excellent job.
Yeah, but the problem is
I think Mr. Singh, you have gone on mute. Yeah. So in the meantime, I'll have Mr. Kamlendu Singh ask his question. I think we lost Mr. Sagar Singh.
Yeah, thank you, Sumit. Agarwal sir has given a very good representation of the logistic, because this is a mind-blowing definition of logistic, where he defined the hardware and the software. The software infrastructure, we are into IT, an IT company working in logistics with most of the big logistics supply chain into medical from Japanese companies are there. We work with them. And we are currently working with the blockchain solution for trustless transaction of logistics across different departments. For the hardware part, there is one solution for temporary arrangements for the collection of different producers in the rural sector. Basically, in the rural sector, as Agrawal sir said, that there are small producers. So there is a dome kind of infrastructure that can be created within 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours, maximum 3 days. That dome infrastructure is strong enough, it resists the typhoon in the Japan. That dome infrastructure can be a collective solution for empty this containers also. When you have enough goods to be transported, you can collect it then and there for that time, and that good collected can be transported when there is enough quantity to be transported through the container. For that is a temporary kind of warehouse that can be created anytime, anywhere, and then when there is sufficient produce to be transported, we can have containers that can transport it. So this is one kind of solution I will suggest that can be introduced into the hardware, because the hardware needs to be improved. With time, the logistic has improved, the software also has improved. The hardware can have a combination of permanent infrastructure as well as temporary structure that is as good as hard as the permanent structure that can store the goods. So that is one solution. The other is about the different kind of transactions that take place at different modes of transportation, from truck to smaller vehicles to. So there is exchange of some documents and others. So that kind of transaction that is based on trust, we need receipts and anything that all can be removed through a blockchain solution. That is not a solution that is not available, that is already working in many modern solutions in the supply chain. We are also working on that kind of supply chain where the blockchain has been used, and in fact there is one more improved version of blockchain, that is Cypher secure solution that even don't needs blockchain. So these two solutions, the temporary infrastructure and trustless transaction, this can be combined as a solution for the improving the rural infrastructure. So this is my suggestion. If there is any link or email, I can provide you a presentation on that, how this is going to work, so that you can send it to Agrawal sir to review once. This is my just take on this, and I will just go through if we get the recording, because these 8 points that Agrawal sir has suggested are going to be very useful for me also. I will read and suggest 2-3 things that are actually working in Japan and other countries where we are coordinating to work on the supply chain. I can suggest those things into how we can use it in Punjab to improve the logistic infrastructure and modernize it.
Sure, Mr. Singh.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your comments on this. In the gist of time, I think I'll end the question session with Pawan sir with a very small question from my side to you. And among the great description that you said, there was a description on the skill development as well. And as you rightly said, this is one of the biggest employers. This sector is one of the biggest employers. And I've seen Government of India's initiative, which was launched by our Honorable Prime Minister on Skill India Mission. So just wanted to know if there are any specific skill development activities which are planned for the logistics sector under that mission or otherwise as well, as this is one of the key areas which would in the future require a lot of development if we have to digitize the sector, if we have to modernize the sector, if we have to bring in foreign participants. So just wanted a brief thoughts from your side on this, sir.
Okay, so I think let me try and attempt to respond to the earlier questions as well. I think the first speaker mentioned about problems of containers, and we are fully aware of it. We are in touch with the shipping lines. Unfortunately, there is no law under which we can regulate the charges that they are levying on the businesses, and they obviously also say that during their bad times they also have similar kind of a situation. So I think while this is an argument that we are not taking from them, but there is a need for proper legislative framework, so that in exceptional circumstances, there can be some kind of intervention by the government. So that is being contemplated, but there is no view that has been taken on this so far. We are, from our side, we are only nudging and persuading them, to not to levy such charges. As far as infrastructure in Amritsar, both at Atari and airport and silos are concerned, these points are noted. Let me figure out and find out, what can be done in this space. I'm sure that at the highest level, all these things have already received attention somewhere or the other. But I'll also further make an attempt at what can be done, because these points appear to be very valid and require action. And now, as far as two ideas that startups gave, these are excellent ideas, and kindly, through the PhD chamber, share it with us. We will see what we can do to amplify them and to support you, because at the end of the day, your users are businesses, and the role of the government is minimal there. But we will see, because more technology solutions, more innovative solutions are used by businesses. It improves efficiency, and we would definitely like to encourage it. On the skill development piece, logistics is an important area within the National Skill Mission, and we have a logistics sector skill council for that. So they conduct lots of training programs throughout the year in various for various job roles. And under the policy, we do not want to restrict ourselves to what logistics sector skill council is doing. So we'll focus on what they are not doing or what they are not able to do, whether it is in terms of scale that they are doing, but they are not doing it at a scale that is needed, or whether there are gaps in what they are able to do. And one of the gaps that we have identified is continuing professional education of people who are in the logistics space. And that is an area which requires attention, because technologies, innovations in logistics and supply chain, they're happening at a very rapid pace. So, and unfortunately, logistics and supply chain do not have like marketing professional, or you have a HR. There is no such specialization that you are in this space. So it is a very blurred and fuzzy kind of a space. Somebody may be doing accounting, and then he is put into supply chain operations. Ki aap warehouse manage kijiye. But managing money and managing warehouse could be two different things altogether. So I think we need to develop that. I would say that separate cadre of professionals who understand logistics, supply chain management better than what they have, so that it brings efficiency to the operations of enterprises. So that is one area we have identified, but we are looking for other areas where there are gaps and where we can intervene. I also saw one question, about parking lots, and that is one area that we have focused in our policy, that parking lots are very important and they should be given adequate attention. And let me only say that any policy is only a statement of intent. At the end of the day, it has to be backed by, funding, resources, and also support from local administration, state administration, and everyone else. So, but it is still useful that these issues are flagged so that they begin to get attention over a period of time. So therefore, these issues have been very clearly flagged there. Now, there is something on logistics, warehousing declared as a logistics and support required for logistics. I know there is a little bit of confusion on this, that what is the consequence of warehousing being declared as an infrastructure. So what advantages do they get? And let me tell you, we are also in the same process of trying to figure out, because it is largely left to the state governments what facilities they're giving. And to begin with, we are trying to understand the entire warehousing space ourselves, because warehousing, there is no dedicated ministry or department at this state level. In many cases, this is regulated under the Shops and Establishments Act, which is only look at the labor issues in warehousing. And there are hardly any standards for warehousing. Even though WDRA has done some work, their focus is primarily on agri-commodities, and a large part of warehousing space today are for other kind of goods. They are, they're outside the ambit of WDRA currently. So warehousing space is a space that we are giving a lot of attention on, and very soon you will see more streamlining of this space, including streamlining of processes of approval, both at the state level, district level, and if there is some intervention required at the national level. So that is one of the activities that we have taken up. So that's it from my side, and thank you very much. These were very good questions. Very good interaction. I must congratulate the PhD Chamber of Commerce for this wonderful opportunity that I got to listen to all of you. And thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for very insightful thoughts. There are a couple of more questions for which I would like to invite our guest of honor, Shri Vivek Pratap Singh ji. We would love to hear his thoughts as well. Sir, there is a question from one of our participants, Mr. Amit Jain, who is President CNF, and he has been facing some problems in the past to gather support on warehousing in Punjab. So, sir, I would want to address this concern. I would want you to throw some more initiatives which you have planned in the future so that these concerns can be taken care of. Shri Vivek Pratap Singh ji, sir, would request your thoughts on this.
Yes, please. Actually, right now, maybe we are also not that well prepared for this, what we can do to assist the industry. I think that we are taking the minutes of today's meeting. It would be better if you send us those suggestions, those are compiled and sent to us. I will be in a better position then to have another meeting with all of you if required. We want to expand the activities of Punjab State Warehousing Corporation beyond agriculture sector. We were trying for this in the month of January, February. It was quite aggressively, but somehow because of this pandemic outbreak, we could not make any headway in that. And now, presently, I must say those things are where they stood at that point of time. For some lands also in some other areas, like the one issue was raised that Amritsar Concor actually wants to establish its facility for container facility in Amritsar. We will be holding meetings with them also shortly. Wherever state government support is required to them, we will provide from here definitely, and I will personally coordinate it. But specific requirements of industry, wherever they are, I will request the PSC chamber to please compile it and then send it to us so that we can then have an informed meeting and maybe of a shorter group so that everybody gets a chance to react to it and we can actually evolve some kind of consensus in that. So please forgive me today. I am personally not an expert in this industry as such, but once we get the feedback, I can ask my officers to come up with the solutions that they feel can address the problems, and I can simultaneously send it back to you and seek your feedback also. Thank you.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much. I think we are in time to just take one last question. I think Mr. Mohit Khanna wants to ask or add some inputs around. Mr. Mohit Khanna. I think you are on mute, Mr. Mohit Khanna. I don't. Yeah, we can hear you now. No, you are still on mute, sir. I think there's some issue with his audio. We'll.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
So, I'm Mohit, I'm president of ICC Chamber of Commerce and managing director of Red Kaizen Group. So I'd like to ask Mr. Vivek Pratap Singh, rather I'd like to put across to him one thing, that is that there is a, CFS, which is near, the Atari, and it's lying completely idle. And earlier it used to be, operated by one of the companies, Khanna Papers used to, get a lot of containers there, but since then it's not functional. And since Atari ICPs also, it was, very seriously, looking at the containerized movement, because that's the answer to the logistics problems. And the cargo from Afghanistan, earlier it used to be from Pakistan also, it was thought that the container movement should start. And Land Port Authority of India was very serious about it. And my chamber also, did quite a bit on that. Now that area is lying pending. That includes the desk of the custom authorities. So and apart from that, there are a lot of other, facilities in Punjab which are lying pending, which is under Punjab State Warehousing Corporation. So can we seriously, make a drawing board, kind of drawing board, let's say we have to sit and see which are the facilities in Punjab which we really have and they are idle and can be used, number one. And number two, when we are integrating the issues of, logistics and, logistics movements and how to streamline these things. So my suggestion over here is that we can create a value chain in which we have to identify the kind of cargo, which is to be transported, here and there, which can be dry bulk or food or, oil or, what kind of cargo we have. So integration of the facilities available plus the value chain created can be a, good answer to that.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna, for your thoughts. I think we'll communicate the same in a formal manner. And definitely, as sir suggested, in a follow-up discussion, we can take these things in greater detail.
No, but what Punjab government is doing about this CFS, which is pending, it's idle here. So I just wanted to ask Mr. Vivek Pratap Singh on
that. Pardon, can you repeat it once? I think that there was some leakage I couldn't hear properly. What was the question?
Sir, there is a CFS in Amritsar, which is about 4 to 5 kilometers from Atari border. From the ICP, and it's idle. And even the customs desk and everything is there. Earlier, it used to be operational. And apart from that, also Punjab government already has a lot of such infrastructures which are idle. So what are we actually doing? Maybe coordinating with central government and making them, possibly in the working condition, which is definitely going to help the business.
Our facility is near the port, no? Towards Atari. Actually, our facility is not rail fed. We are also in talks with Concor and others to establish another facility in that area. But definitely, if it helps the industry, I will devote,
Ravi Singh se baat kar.
if it is if everybody feels that it is important for the local industry, I will depute some of my officers to go to Amritsar and have a meeting with you in Amritsar, and we will do whatever is possible to revive this facility. It was not commercially viable for us, therefore that's why perhaps it is not in operation right now.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your thoughts on this, sir. I would now like to invite Shri Karan Gilotra, Chairman, Punjab State Trust, PSDCCI, to propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Sumit, and thank you for moderating this session. I think this was a great information which was flowing from our respected guests, and logistics and warehousing is something which has been the backbone and is going to be the future for years to come. So on behalf of PhD Chamber, I would like to thank Mr. Pavan Agarwal, Senior IAS Officer from Delhi, and Mr. Vivek Pratap, IAS MD Warehousing Corporation, Punjab, for sparing their time and sharing all the valuable information, and also answering a lot of questions before our participants. And I also thank our PhD Chamber Secretariat for continuously working on this, Jigyasa, Madhu ma'am, Ramneet, for towards making this session a great success. And thank you to Mr. Agarwal and Mr. Vivek Pratap Singh once again. And thank you to Madhu sir also for inviting me for their Chandigarh chapter session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And it has been a very lovely discussion. And have a great evening to everyone. And thank you for participating. Thank you.
Thank you very much.